continue a modifier, and this time it's more of the same except a different way of building the walls. Okay, so let's say, and in Boolean operation, obviously you can have complex shape depending on your cookie cutter, right? Technically, we could use the monkey object and take that shape out of the wall. We'll get a monkey shape out of the wall, right? So this one, it's a little bit different, okay? I'm going to select number 3 right here for faces. I'm going to take out, we're just going to leave the 2 side walls right there. So I'm going to press X, faces, and we have this. All right, so it's kind of like the corner of the house. All right, so instead of doing the Boolean operation, we're just going to do a inset polygon, or press I. Okay, so it's not an extrude. So let me show you the difference. I'm going to select this first. If I do extrude here, press E, and then there's your extrude. We know how that works, right? If remember our right-click cancel lesson? Yeah. So if I extrude this and then right-click and cancel, and I press S right now, so I cancel the movement of the extrude, then I could press S to extrude it, right? Scale it. So I'm going to click undo. Okay. This time, instead of doing that, I'm going to use I, or inset polygon. Inset polygon simply eliminates the right-click cancel and scale it. So if I just press I, drag my mouse, it does the same thing. See it? So it's a faster tool, and its job is to extrude and scale with no movement. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm going to right-click and cancel that, of course. The tool for it is this inset faces, inset polygon face. Okay. If I click that, and then I drag this little contraption here, and there it is. Okay. And after that, you can switch to your scale tool, and you could actually scale this one. And we get that kind of same window type before, right? So I'm going to press delete, faces, there's that. I'm going to do the same thing here, except we're going to have one of them, what do you call this in construction? Picture window. I love this windows. Except I didn't put them in my treehouse because I will die. Yeah, if that thing tips one way, it's over. I have no chance of surviving. Pure glass, right? Great for view, terrible for insulation. Your AC is going to rack up a billion. You guys notice? I don't know if you seen colder climate countries. Their houses, their windows, they're tiny because it's all about conserving heat in the winter. You're like here, it's like, you know, you have money, you go like, oh man, I want this windows in my house. Actually, it would be awesome. But then your AC bill comes, you're like, those small windows, they make sense now. Okay, so if I press tab here, go to object mode. The difference between Boolean and this is that these are paper thin walls. Agree? So if we add a modifier, it's called, where's that one? Solidify, right here, Solidify, okay? If I click Solidify, it has options for thickness. You see it? So now, is it very similar to the Boolean operation? It is now, isn't it? So, there's also even thickness. This is probably what we want to make sure it's checked, okay? Because you want even thickness on all sides, okay? All right, so there it is. However, when I press tab here to go to edit mode, guess what? That's still part of the modifier, meaning I can't select that part. You see it? Only this. Remember, that's only a modifier. It's how do we make the modifier part of the object? What did I do before? Anyone remember? You apply it. All right, so remember the Solidify? If I click the, let's say I'm pretty happy, right? You don't apply any modifier until you're, well, I'm happy with this object, right? Because otherwise, guess what? You have to click undo. It goes away after you save and close the program. Agree? So if I hit apply right here, now it's part of the object. Look at what happens when I go to edit mode. See? Now I have access to that. It is now part of the object. All right, so modifiers are great as a temporary modeling or solution to your models. And in case you want to change your mind how thick that wall is, you can wait at the very last moment and then apply. Okay, so that's Solidify right there. Okay, so next is we're going to have a sphere, a cube, sorry, over here. And we're going to add another modifier to this object. Okay, called subdivision surface. Subdivision surface is a super important modifier that adds polygon faces to your object to make it super smooth. However, it's something that you don't apply until you're really happy with everything, or even then you don't need to apply it. You can always turn it off and then it keeps its look. Okay, so this is a cube. Agreed. This is six-sided. Low polygon count, right? So if I apply a subdivision surface modifier to this, guess what happens? It's starting to change to a sphere. It just added all those sections to it. You see it? I mean, you don't see them because I have wireframe off. But, all right, and then it says here the level viewport, meaning what we see is level 1. What's actually being rendered is level 2. Let's see what level 2 looks like. All right. Remember, we're seeing level 1 right here. So I'm going to go render image. There it is. It's a lot smoother. You see it? So if you want to see what your render is, you simply change level viewport from 1 to 2. Then you're 1-to-1 with what will be rendered. If I actually right-click this and shade smooth it, it even looks smoother. But here's the thing. Guess what? If I turn off my modifier, it's still a cube, folks. You see it? Only the modifier makes it into a wall. So if I were modeling this like this, so let me duplicate this, okay? All right, and I applied this, let's say. All right, so this is what this really looks like. This one, when I hit tab, that's what you see, right? I applied the subdivision surface. Watch this. When I hit tab, it's still a cube. So it still has that simplistic modeling, except it's represented as a complex model. But what's the difference here? Well, if I were to manipulate this and let's say I want to sharpen the corners and then round it off, well, tough luck. It's high polygon already and it already gave me a certain character already. But on this one, let's say I want to make this look like a medicine pill, right? So all I need to do first is ignore the subdivision surface. Okay, just go back with this. So let's say, how do I make this into a medicine pill? All right, let's make it taller, right? And then just curve out the top and the bottom, right? Like a capsule. So let me turn this on. It ain't going to do it because it looks like this, right? But when I apply, when I do a Control R or loop cut, this tool right here, I'm going to do Control R. Okay, it's asking how many lines do you want. If I scroll my mouse, I can give it multiple lines. Okay, let's say we want 3 right there. And then when I left mouse click, it's going to ask me, where do you want to position them? I just want them in the middle. So what do? Right click, cancel the movement. There it is. All right. Not looking perfect, but looks complex. Yeah. But look at the model. Super simplistic. So imagine now what you apply to your apple one after you model them or whatever. It's subdivision surface, isn't it? Okay. So now let's take a look at what happens to subdivision surface on this object right here. Let's say we want this house to look like Flintstone's house. Are you familiar with Flintstones? It's supposed to be rocks and whatnot, so it should look very organic, right? So if we apply subdivision surface, eek, All right, looking good already. You see it? It looks like the Flintstones house corner and whatnot. Okay, so it looks like a mask or something. All right, there it is. It got organic looking. So, but let's say we want this side to be a little bit flat, right? So watch this. If I hit tab, all right. So right here, this particular section is it's curving, all right. So we can add some modeling to this, of course, all right. So if I select this and then extrude it, all right, by just adding one segment, look what happened to that curvature. All right, let's say we do the same thing here. E, extrude it, there we go. All right, and then let's say we want a little bit more stability at the top. I select all the segments at the top, press E. All right, you see what's happening? So the more you add cuts to it, the more rigid looking it is. Okay, watch this corner. See how curved it is because there's no information here. If I do Control R right here, okay, and then move it over here, see how that thing gets that or over there. So if I add one in there and I add one here, okay, so we're starting to kind of block it out. The less polygon, the more rounder it is. Okay, so that's how that kind of works. All right. So and that is subdivision surface and solidify modifier.